Now you know, Squally. What is very clear is that there are so many programs that the government has rolled out to be able to help the youth, to empower them. Perhaps, again, what is clear is that most of us do know where to find these programs from. There's an element of awareness issue, but also where to find these programs from. Most of them are actually found at the county commissioner's office. So approach the county commissioner and you'll be able to advise on how you can be able to access some of these programs. But in addition to that, some of them are also found within various government-owned websites. Public Service Commission website is the first place to start from. And like it did mention that many of us would prefer to visit other websites as opposed to Public Service Commission or government-owned website for reasons that perhaps government website may not be as entertaining as much, but that is where you can be able to access help. You know, majority of us, and I'm sure that we have got sportsmen and women here who spend a lot of their time perhaps looking at who has been recruited within the team of Arsenal, squarely. Or who is coming in, Manchester United. We are aware about these things. It's so bad. But let's employ the Pareto principle. He did mention about it, whereby you invest 20%, you get what? 80%. That is going to help us. So that 20% of your time, you spend it on entertainment, but 80% of your time, you spend it on areas that can be able to develop and to grow you as an individual. If you do that, certainly you're going to find that your life is going to change very, very quickly. He mentioned a couple of programs, and allow me to perhaps just add a bit more information regarding a few. There's one that is called Presidential Digital Talent Program. It's a program that is courtesy of a collaboration between the government and the industry, whereby those who are dealing in ICT-related fields get 1-year internship program at the industry. Industry here is either Safaricom, KBL, Kenya Breweries Limited, Kenya Airways, or any other private entity. So that is a collaboration between the government and the private sector. It's a 1-year program called Presidential Digital Talent Program. He mentioned about also Ajira Digital, and I know you have a center here that's waiting to be launched officially. We are planning to come over. We'll come back to launch it here at Chuka. But this program really is one of what you can call game changers, because the reality is that there are more jobs than people who look for jobs. If you expand your horizon beyond our borders and you go beyond Africa and look anywhere else in the world, there certainly are more jobs than people looking for jobs. A lot of times we tend to localize our search within the environment where we live, and sometimes, like it was said here, that live within the box, but think and act outside the box. So living within the box is to never forget your motherland, but you are free to go and work anywhere else in the world. So let's think about that and keep it as the focus of our everyday engagement. But the other one also I need to talk about briefly is Studio Mashinani. I know there are artists here, there are entertainers in this group, but you also understand that some of them, as being artists, may be unable to have a production because they either lack resources, so they don't know what to do. So the government has this program to help young people, men and women, to be able to come up with their production, and the government will help them to produce, whether it be music or be a video production, that then can be able to sell to the market. There are various studios in the country that can be able to help you do this. So we are here, ladies and gentlemen, to be able to help identify some of these opportunities. And indeed, it was mentioned here that the Big Four agenda has been able to expand the horizons of opportunity. Recently, you're aware that the head of state was in Lamu, and he was unveiling the first birth of the Lamu project, or the LabSet project. You may not be familiar with that project, but it's actually a mega project that brings together several countries of the region. But we're lucky that that project is actually in our country. And therefore, being in our country, realistically, then it generates more opportunity for ourselves than any other country that this project is supposed to be running through. So find out about this, honestly, because there are millions of opportunities that can be generated from this project. And therefore, having told you about some of this, and I'm talking about some because there are many projects and programs and initiatives that the government is rolling out, targeting none other than the youth. There are many. And today, if you look at perhaps what is real, is that there is money crying to be taken. Everywhere you look, you see money. Si kweli? Wangapi nasema ni kweli? Wangapi nasema ni hapana? If you ask the VC and all the senior officers sitting here today, they can tell you that there were times when it was very difficult to get a loan from a bank. In fact, pulling out one tooth was easier than getting money from a bank. In those early days, you needed to have certain kind of collateral, either logbook or land deed, kind of a certificate, title deed or something that was not there. But today, actually, banks have come to our own houses. They are actually calling us to go out there and get what? And get money. How many have been called by their banks to come and get money? They are everywhere. They even come to the institution here, please start an account with us. Open up an account with us. Before, that was never the case. So there's money, like you've seen a mango tree that is well ripened, that is completely developed with many fruit that just need to pluck them. That is how money is hanging down here. But beyond that, the government has also added to that. There is so much money. Sometimes this money goes back to the national treasury because nobody has come forward to take it. So you're being challenged, ladies and gentlemen, to step out and go and take this money because it is yours. But it cannot be given. You must go because this money belongs to everyone here, and therefore there must be some element of what? Accountability. That accountability can only be achieved when there is some paperwork being done. I know young men and women sometimes find paperwork to be too inconveniencing. But you must be able, because this money belongs to everyone. So accept that little inconvenience, go register an enterprise, and go and be given this money. Sometimes it just takes 1 hour a day to get the money. So the challenge goes back to you, that come forward and be given this money. Let me also say this, that being told about this program and initiative that the government is rolling out is essentially about mentoring you. It's showing you where these programs are, where these opportunities are, and how you can be able to exploit them. That is mentorship. All of us here, including the VC and the other dons, were all mentored one way or another. A mentorship doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have even to be complex. It could be as simple as being told that this is the right way to follow, and you follow that. Or this is how you should go about this, and you do that. Or don't cross this road at this point because it is too heavy in traffic. That's mentorship. Or these are the opportunities that you need to identify, to exploit. That is mentorship. But quite too often, young men and women, when they look at the horizon, what they see are obstacles and shadows and, what you can call, despair at the horizon. But we are here, ladies and gentlemen, to tell you that beyond the horizon, what you see as shadows, behind those shadows lie nothing else but bridges and opportunities. That's what lies there. So what do they require to be able to exploit these opportunities? a bit of character, a bit of patience, a bit of resilience, a bit of the desire of stepping out there. Because we know many men and women, statesmen, entrepreneurs, who have succeeded in life. And I can give you a few. I'm sure you all know about Richard Branson, the owner of which airline? Virgin Airline. Trust me, he never went through formal education like we have. But he's gone to the outer space simply because of nothing else other than character. The idea that, yes, you will be falling down at some point, but when you fall down, what must you do? You dust yourself up and continue doing what? You will be discouraged by your friends, by your neighbors, by your families, that this thing cannot work. But sometimes they discourage you because they like your idea, but they cannot themselves run with it. So you must persist on that idea. That requires character. So when you are not willing to persist, that you want to be like Simon Akonde, it can never work today. That you're born on which day? So let's not be like who? Simon Akonde. Let's be resilient, let's be persistent, let's be courageous. But also, let's be adventurous at the same time. Then we'll be able to achieve our goals. Names that I can mention, the likes of, Benjamin Franklin, Abraham Lincoln. Those are people who've never had even 3 years of formal education. But you know what they achieved. The likes of Tom Mboya, never had university education. Roberto Ruko, many never had formal education, but you know what they achieved. So basically what I'm saying, you are better off than them. Because you have this education, formal education, you are more knowledgeable, you have everything at your fingertips or at your palm. The phone that we have has got literally everything, is able to connect us with the rest of the world from where we sit. So why can't we then be able to change the world from where we sit with all this available to us? Every corner you turn, you see something. Turn left, right, at your fingertips. The VC here can tell you that I think he got his first phone perhaps in the year 2001. You call it a VC. Maybe later than that. So there was no information. Today we have everything we need. And therefore, all we need, ladies and gentlemen, is to be able to identify those opportunities, be courageous to take them. Maybe the final message you have is about patriotism. And this is key. Because patriotism is nothing else other than the love of motherland. All these things we're talking about, the discouragement, the despair that we very quickly are drawn into, is perhaps because we believe that, we think that maybe if I was in country X or country Y, maybe my situation would be much better. Like you all say that the grass also looks greener where? Across the river. But that is really what you call the Murphy's Law. When you cross the river and you look back, the grass is greener where? Where you have come from. So the grass is greener where you are. That's the reality of things. So therefore, these opportunities that we have are actually better. And the truth be told, if you walk across the borders we have here, westward, eastward, southern, northern, the countries that really surround us, none of those countries actually got programs targeting the youth like this country. We have every, literally everything that can be utilized by the youth to better their lot. All that is required is the youth to step up and step out and be able to exploit these opportunities. Because if you go to Lamu Port, let me give you an example. You'll identify that there is something that is lacking there that he can't be able to do. He mentioned about mango processing. But there are many things you can process. If you go to Lamu, I'll give an example. In Lamu, the crab, you know it, they are collecting crabs when it's low tide and sell the crabs to the Chinese at $2. $2, one crab. And the Chinese will come and sell crab in Nairobi for $20. How much profit is that? $2 and then $20. Almost 500% profit or thereabout. But why do you allow that to happen? That's just one example. There are many other examples. So honestly, there are opportunities hanging just waiting to be exploited, but you must have the character and you must have the love for your country to be able to exploit them. It doesn't stop you from venturing out. There are many Kenyans in Tanzania who are doing businesses there. There are many Kenyans who are in DR Congo doing businesses there. And you can also be one of them who ventures out to go and do business out there. But you must always look back to your country. Today, the concept is not about brain drain anymore. The concept is about brain gain. But yes, go out, repatriate what you're getting, acquire skills there, and come and invest where sometimes back home. That is the concept of today. Okay? So the government is encouraging young men and women to step forward and be able to grab this opportunity so that we do not just look for jobs, we become creators of jobs. So there are many young men, and I'm glad that there are, entrepreneurs who are already here, who are, setting the trail, blazing the trail on how to be job creators. I am glad also that some of the officers who are from this institution are already setting examples elsewhere. Earlier on, we were discussing with the VC that there are 5 already working at the airport, providing very good service there. So indeed, yes, all of you, realistically, have been given the tools to be able to make change out there. So now it is up to you to sharpen those tools. It is up to you to ensure that you're ready for the job market. And what you're doing today, ladies and gentlemen, is to tell you that the job market is there, opportunities are there, but you must be prepared mentally and physically to exploit them. There is no telephone call that you will receive that so-and-so job here, come and do it, if you do not present yourself. So you must prepare well in terms of attitude. You must prepare well in terms of mental preparedness. You must prepare well in terms of character. You must prepare well in terms of knowledge. So that when you go out there into an interviewing panel or interviewing room, what you have on paper is in harmony with what is coming from you. Let me say it again. Many times, there is sometimes a bit of disharmony between what is on the paper in terms of the qualification. You have a first class honors or second upper. So the expectations would be that what is coming from you must be consistent with what is in the papers that you have. So when there's a disconnect, then question marks begin to be raised. Right? So what do we hear after that? Singechukuliwa kwa sababu mimi sijui mtu. Ni kweli? I don't know anyone, so how would I have been taken? But without necessarily looking backwards and ask, could I be the problem? Because self-reflection is a very important value to have. That you look at yourself and you ask, maybe it is me and not the others. But you're too quick a few times to look at somebody else. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, to just tell you why it is important for young people like you to engage and participate in nation building is because, like I did mention at the very beginning, let me end up with what I started with, that there is no country that can move forward without the contribution and the participation of young people. None whatsoever. Because you have the energy, you have enthusiasm and the drive to be able to push that wheel forward. But that requires also an element of wisdom, and therefore it is no crime to have young people within a cocktail of old people, or in a cocktail that has got both young people, middle-aged people, and slightly older people. Because that makes it important to have. But the critical mass should be that of young people. But the young must be motivated and patriotic enough. Earlier on, I was asking my colleagues here, and I'm going to ask you the same, to just show you why it is important for us as a nation, as a society, to be able to appreciate the country that we have. A couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 now, there were 2 young men, I think now they are 4, who were allegedly attacked by the police in Embu, and they died. The 4th one, I think, died yesterday as a result of the fracas that ensued because of that incident that is still in investigation. But if I ask at random, how many of us are able to remember the names of those 2 brothers? At random. How many remember them, their names? Anybody who remembers their names? Unless you're coming from Embu. Tell me, anyone who remembers their names? I think 1 or 2 or 3 would remember. Sinkweli. Now, because you all read newspapers, you listen to radio, Tuko News, whatever news, remember somebody by the name Judy Wanjiko. Judy Wanjiko was thrown out of a moving matatu and she died. But I'm sure you cannot remember that. Nothing wrong with that. There's another lady called Beatrice Mangolo. She was thrown out of a moving truck in Kisumu when she was found by askaris, just doing normal, retail business along the roadside. But how many remember that case? How many remember? You may not remember her name, but at least the incident. Maybe none. Nothing wrong with that. How many of us remember George Floyd? Okay, let me put it this other way. How many do not remember George Floyd? How many? We all do, don't we? But what happened here, very close to us here in M, we cannot remember. What happened not so long ago, one of our own was thrown out of a moving matatu. We cannot remember her name. This lady was thrown out of a moving taxi, a moving truck by city askaris. We can't remember her name. This lady was thrown from 12th floor to 9th floor, and she died, or she broke her back, her spine. Another lady, we cannot remember her name. This another one was attacked, I think in a house somewhere, Githurai or somewhere in Kahawa. We cannot remember their names, but we can never forget who? George Floyd. Why is that so? And that applies to, I'm not putting you to test, because even if you go to town there, it will be the same. If you go to Mombasa, Kisumu, Nairobi, it will be the same. But that's the society that we've become. That we consume too much external material, to the extent that we forget what is our own. So when you consume too much what is outside, you also tend to be drawn to what is outside. You forget what is inside. But inside must be constructed and built by you, nobody else. So when we're drawn looking far and beyond and we forget our own houses, certainly there is a problem. And this applies to members of the media as well. So let's focus, ladies and gentlemen, on what is our own, because it is you who will build this country, and you cannot build what you do not know. Maybe if today I ask all of us to come here and sing the national anthem, all the three stanzas, I am sure, I'm almost certain, like tomorrow will be Saturday, sincerely, that we are going to struggle. Am I lying? Please do a bit of soul searching. We call this motherland. Sincerely, this is motherland. But you cannot remember the name of our mother, because that is the national anthem. I am challenging you, ladies and gentlemen, because you're going to go out there. You will be the governors of tomorrow. You will be the DP of tomorrow, the president of tomorrow, the county commissioner, the regional commissioners. You will be those people tomorrow. But if you cannot remember the national anthem, don't you see there's a problem? I'm sure others even know which colors of our national flag comes first and which one comes last. Is it a lie? So it's a challenge I'm giving you, young men and women, because tomorrow you will be assistant county commissioners. You will be deputy county commissioners. You will be the county commissioners. You will be the various other agents of government, even in the private sector, because this boat belongs to all of us, a boat called Kenya. And nobody else will steer it except ourselves. So you can never allow this boat, because majority in that boat is yourselves. You are the majority. So when you go back home tonight or today, or even tomorrow, please tell the next door neighbor, please, can we just practice how to sing this national anthem? Just go into the YouTube, so somebody will be singing and you sing along with that person. If you do it every day for about a month, you'll be able to master it. That is the challenge I'm giving to you, young men and women. It sounds like a joke, but it is true. So all that we're talking about here must be built on a strong foundation of nationhood. That's all we're saying here. And that foundation was laid long before by those who are ahead of us. The big question that perhaps one would want to ask is that if we are living in that time, in the 40s, in the 50s, perhaps even in late 50s, would we have gotten independence? Because in here we expect Haridukus. In here we expect the likes of Dedan Kimathis. In here we expect the likes of Jomo Kenyatta. In you. And there are many ladies who also did help in providing support to the freedom fighters. Now that they built the foundation, should we allow it to crumble? Would you allow it to crumble? No, we should not allow it to crumble. And therefore, it is up to us now to ensure that we are able to ensure that the walls, the roof, and the ceiling of this house is firm. That is a challenge to young men and women in this of this country or in this institution. I'm just about winding up. Say that this is the third time I'm saying that, but I'm for sure winding up now. And therefore, in you, indeed in you, you're graduating in December, and the VC, because I said I'm a student here, if you allow, you can perhaps invite me, I'll come back. Because I'm a student, to come and graduate with you. But even as I come back, ladies and gentlemen, one thing that is for certain, that the future of this country is in your hands. That's for certain. So every single day, please visit government-related websites. Every single day. They may not be very gisty, perhaps not as appealing as the likes of Vera Sidika, perhaps, but they provide information that can be of help to you and build you. Because it is through that we get to know our country's history. It is through that we must know where we want to go. There is no driver. For those who have got cars here, and I'm sure these people at the back here have got cars, I would wish to see that driver that drives without a rear view mirror. Is there any? There is none, because without seeing where you're coming from, you can't know where you are going. And therefore you also need that mirror to tell us how did we gain independence? How have we grown from independence to here? Now, who is going to get this vehicle from where it is to the next destination? That is Vision 2030 and beyond. Who will do that? It is you young men and women who are sitting here today. Me and the VC and a few others were at 6 p.m. But you are still at what time? Maybe 11 a.m. There are those at maybe 10 a.m. So you've got a lot of time to push this Vision 2030 beyond 2030. Not us. It is you. But you must only do that when you have the character, the values of patriotism, values of resilience, values of dependability, values of compassion, values of respect, all those put together. Then you'll be able to make this country be what we aspire it to be as the people of Kenya. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be together, I think, on 4th December. Yeah, 17th December. So that's the date, clearly. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much. God bless you all.